Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the time that you guys are spending. I've got a number of different PowerPoint slides, but I promise you this is not death by PowerPoint. I promise, okay? It's just hitting the highlights. But I, just want to go over some different things with you and, give you some offer. And some of you guys know me. Sharon's known me for a number of years. I know Mark, you know me, Kim Neff, but a couple of you do know me. But just a little bit about me. I'm Navy retired. I retired after 20 years. I retired out of the Pentagon. The running joke at the Pentagon was why are there bars on the window of the fifth deck of an inside ring? And the answer was to keep Commander Worlow from jumping out. I worked for a political appointee, which was bad enough, but he was under investigation for all 3 years that I was there. So I retired. Oh yeah, it was a real treat. Let me tell you, it was a real treat. I've been a realtor since 1997. My home association is actually PWAR, but I'm a member of every association in Northern Virginia. So from Dulles down to Fredericksburg up to NVAR. A little bit more information about me. I'm a Fathom District Director, which is essentially the managing broker. And I've done this since, I've been with Fathom since 2015, January 2015. Some of you also know that I'm a CE and PLE instructor. I also teach a number of certifications and designations for NAR. And I've been on an NAR video about VA loans. And I've got an interview tomorrow afternoon with NAR talking about MRP and giving them input and some things like this. So I do have a lot of I have a strong professional resume. One of the things that I will add to this is that in many of the brokerages, I know it has not been that way with Avery Hess, because I know Sharon and Mark will answer the phone. There are a number of brokerages, whether they're conventional brokerages or 100% or whatever, where if you need a broker, you dial in, and EXP uses avatars and other, you dial in and this 1-800 number or whatever number, and you basically get whoever's on call. It may be the broker that you're used to, it may be the broker that you're not happy with or whatever, but to me, there's no real consistency. So if you're to join Fathom Realty, you would be answering to me. Now, look, I know that Sharon has a lot, Kim, you do, and I know Mark, great reputation, a lot of knowledge. My point being is that when you call the broker in my offices, you get the broker, you get me. I kid and tell people that I work half days. And usually when I say I work half days, people look at me like, well, that ought to be nice. Well, I'm retired Navy, so it's military half days. It's 9 in the morning to 9 at night. If you need me early, you text me. But I will tell you, I answer the phone at 9 o'clock at night. But after about 7:30, somebody's hair better be on fire or a house flooded for me to help. So anyway, this is a disclaimer.
Lost me right there.
Sure. Say again. Say again.
Oh, nothing. Sorry.
Okay. That's right, Kathy. This is an antitrust disclaimer that I want to let you know. So if we ever talk about anything when we're talking about commissions, percentages are for instructional purposes only, and to look at how Fathom uses caps and comparison purposes only. It's not be construed as I'm setting a standard or setting anything along those lines or fixing fees. So I just want to be upfront about that. So what's the difference with Fathom? So Fathom is a 100% company. Okay. Now everybody knows there's truly not really a 100% company where you keep everything. You actually do with us in some circumstances. But the way Fathom works it's an annual fee of $600. That's paid on your first closing, sale or purchase. Okay. Then it's $550 a transaction for every transaction. That's for the first 15. Okay. Now that's if your sale price is under $600, $600,000. So the cap for that, basically, if you have all your transactions are under 600, you have an 8250 cap. Now, one agent said to me, well, that's the same as such and such. And I said, well, yeah, but they charge splits. And then after, I think I got somebody else that's coming in. Just want to make sure. Nope, I guess not. when you've capped, there are still plenty of fees with it. We don't play games like that. So after you cap, it's $150 a transaction for the remainder of your calendar year. So everything comes based on the day that you join Fathom. Homes for 600,000 to $1 million, there's an additional $200 fee. And that's because basically E&O, et cetera, things like this. And you go, well, what do you mean E&O? You don't pay E&O. E&O is being paid by the firm, by Fathom, through your $600 annual and your fees. So there's no E&O fee, there's no technology fee, there's no review fee. I review all the docs. They don't pay me, you're not charging you for me to do that. That's my job. Okay. But no matter what, you keep the rest of the transaction. So if you have let's say I have a transaction and your commission was 15,000, okay. On the first sale, it would be 15,000 minus 600. So you're at 14,400 and then minus 550. The rest is yours. There are no other fees with that. And we have a team option as well. Speaking of teams, husband and wife teams count as one person. They count as one person. So it's a $600 fee, period. It's $550 a transaction for every transaction for that husband and wife group, okay, team. In addition to that, just so that you know, like I said, we have plenty of different things that I can go over with as far as teams, and I'll do that later, okay? So we do have, so let me put it this way. There are a number of different companies that are somewhat multi-level marketing. I'm not denigrating them. They have a great job. A lot of them have great reviews, etc. But for the most part, agents want to be agents. They want to buy and sell real estate, have clients. For people that want to recruit, where that's part of what they look at, we also have 2 other programs that will help you as far as keeping more of your commission. We have a program called Cap for Life, which is if you recruit 4 agents who have done 2 or more transactions in the previous 12 months, you are capped for life. So you pay your annual fee and you pay whatever the cap fee is. So now it's $150 forever for all your transactions. You never do the $550. We also have a program of Free for Life, which is if you recruit another 4 agents with 2 or more transactions, you are free for life. You pay your annual fee and then nothing else. So you keep all your commission. Now, what's the likelihood of that? I don't think it's probably high in general because you guys aren't recruiters. You don't want to be recruiters. You want to be agents. Okay. So that's part of it. So anybody that's done any reading knows that one of the big things that we look at for our clients and that I look at as a broker is what is your why? So as agents, what we look at for the most part, whether you're an agent, whether you're a team leader, whether you're a broker, or a combination of all of them, is we're in this business, yes, to help people. I'm not saying nobody's altruistic, but let's also be upfront about it. You're in this business to make money for your family, for financial security, etc. So I don't know what your splits were with Avery Hess. I don't know what other companies would offer you. I don't care, okay? Whether it's 60-40, 75-25, 80, it doesn't matter. The object here is with Fathom, you're keeping more of your money. Our founder, Josh Harley, has figured out essentially that for every $1,000 you put in marketing, now it may change because the market's changed, but in general, for every $1,000 you put into marketing, you add 1 transaction. So if you were to take $2,000 of your commissions over 2024 and put that into your marketing, the estimation is that it will add 2 more transactions. And you can see, if you look at that, the compounding, what that actually comes out to. What else can you do with your money? Well, taxes, vacation, investing, home upgrades, or one of my favorites is the little photo that you see there where the Saudi sheikh is in the car in his Jaguar, and he actually has a Jaguar on a leash next to him. So if that's your jam, okay, so be it. But your why is financial security. And the way we are set up to give you your commission is a key to you having better financial security. Now, the question I always get is, well, wait a minute, that's pretty neat. but how can you afford to do this? How does Fathom afford to do this? So whether it's the office in Centerville or here in Stafford or in Lake Ridge, there are fees that the brokerage pays. You have rental fees or mortgage, et cetera, electric. Since we are a relatively virtual company, what ends up happening is we turn that money over to you. The largest part of the overhead for the brokerage is returned to you because we're not paying it. Okay, we're not paying it. So when it comes down to it, questions that you need to ask yourself as you start to make these decisions, whether you go with McInerney or whether you go to another firm, or you go with us as you're making the decisions, is let's take a look at the caps and production. Many people, 22 was a good year, 23 was worse, and they're looking at, depending on the experts, okay, because every day I read all these different things about mortgage rates, et cetera. But do you think you're going to cap do you think you're going to cap in 2024 someplace else? Well, the chances of you capping are a lot better with us. Will you get your money's worth from another brokerage? That's a question that you guys answer. You answer every day when you come here, but when you leave Avery Hess and go to another brokerage, if it's a conventional brokerage, you're going to get your money's worth with it. Might I need that 21,000 or 8,000 or whatever thousand in 2024 that I'm paying to the brokerage? Would I need that more for my mortgage, for my advertising, for my family, for my business? A drop in the market. Okay, if you're going to another brokerage, will they be looking for more money as increased fees and splits? Okay, so let's say Fathom increases $50. Okay, well, that's not that much. Other brokerages may go, hey, so instead of 80-20, you're now 75-25 because we need the money. That's a big hit. That's a big hit for you. And what it comes down to is if brokerages are looking for money, what are they doing? They're cutting expenses. How they cut expenses? Well, they either increase fees or reduce splits. Everybody does it, whether it's us or anybody. It's what's the impact on your income and your ability to save and do what you need to do. Does the split in another brokerage help them market or you market? There's not a question about that. And if you figure a $12,500 commission, okay, that if you, depending on the split that you have with another firm, will that $3,750 pay their mortgage or your mortgage? And so it comes down to financial sense is really what it comes down to. So has your production gone down from 22 to 23? Might it go down from 23 to 24? Again, depends on the market. Do you think it's going to get better in 2024? Let's say it does get better in 2024. Well, the great news, if it gets better in 2024 and you're part of Fathom, right up front, your income grows, okay? Our interest rate's going to impact you. I mean, I saw something earlier today that said that the Fed is going to lower interest rates 4 times in 2024. Well, that's a possibility because it's what? It's an election year, okay? It's an election year. But also, I've seen other reports that they're either going to keep it the same or maybe raise it once or twice. It's a crapshoot. We all know that. And again, so if you join another brokerage, are they looking to cut costs and how much is that going to impact you? No matter what, most of the brokerages, the large national brokerages, you're paying a franchise fee. So you're looking at a commission of normally not 100% of the commission, but 94% of the commission before you take your splits and fees. We don't do that, okay? So the object is to keep more money for yourself and your family. So here's my information, and I'm going to send this presentation to Sharon, and she can share it out. But there's my email, and there's my phone number, and the link on there is actually to my district director site. I have a site for me as a licensed realtor, but I also have my DD site. The question also comes, well, what about CRM? It's in our back agent. What about a website? You get that for free and it's fully customizable. Plus you have landing pages that you can do with that website. Okay. How do we get all the information? Well, how do I get all the information review? In our back agent, you upload it and I review it. I usually review everything in the morning, maybe later in the afternoon. I got something that may take a day, but 36 hours, but pretty much that's the way it is. How do I get paid? Well, everybody has a mortgage company and a title company. Gee, Fathom's no different. Okay. Fathom has a title company called Verus. It's actually in Fredericksburg. I've used them. Gonna tell you, I've used First Guardian Title and Escrow since 1999. Okay. They're my go-to. Have I used Verus on occasion? Yes. When I use them, I get paid the day after settlement. It doesn't have to be recorded because Verus is a Fathom holding company. They are paying you. Okay. Are you encouraged to use the mortgage company and insurance company and title company? No, absolutely. Is anybody going to get upset if you don't? No. Okay. Least of all me, because I have my lenders, my wife is an insurance agent, and I have First Guardian Title and Escrow. So if somebody whines and says, "Oh, your guys aren't you?" I got your back on this because I use it, but I'm not going to get upset if you don't. You've all one of the things is you've all formed relationships. That's how you got to where you are. You formed relationships with a title company. You formed relationships with a mortgage company. You can call them up and get information or get somebody to answer the phone right away. I'm never going to try and get between you and those people because they're the ones that make you successful. All right. Any questions about anything that I've gone over? Again, I told you it's not death by PowerPoint, but I want to give you some information.
The transaction fee, the 550, every transaction fee.
Yes.
Okay. Is there an admin fee?
No.
So could we pass that?
Yes.
Okay.
So the question was for the 550, since we don't require an admin fee, can you pass that on to the client? Can you say, okay, this is your commission and this is the admin fee, whether it be the entire amount or part of it?
Right.
I don't care. If you want to do that,
Can
that's
we have
fine. You're allowed to do it.
something
Yeah.
like that?
You're
Right.
allowed to do that. It doesn't matter. Let's say you have a $700,000 property and you go, hey, I don't mind paying 550, but I don't want to pay the 200. So you can say, hey, by the way, the admin fee for me is $200. So you're still paying the 550, they're paying the 200, you're square.
Can you talk more about training tools, things
Sure.
that people have access to at Fathom? At least I know here, maybe not as much as the other offices, but we have a lot of new green agents.
Okay.
So what are some of those things that your DocuSign, zip forms, all of those things?
Okay, so the question from Sharon was, can I talk about training and admin, et cetera, things like this? And the lights just flickered. So if I disappear, it's because the power went out. So real quick, so I asked Sharon, I said, where do you want me to grab lunch? And she goes, well, Panera is fine. So I pull into the Panera parking lot, go up, open the door, and the door is locked, and people are flooding out. Panera's had lost power, so I went over to Wawa. So, Mark, if we go to lunch, I'm not taking you to Wawa. Just understand that. I'll give you a real restaurant. So here are a couple of different things. So, zip forms. We use zip forms. I use zip forms. One of the things about zip forms is that I've actually used zip forms since I think 2005. So I have an account with zip forms, and the zip forms are all tailored and specific to the different offices. So you're not going to be paying the large amount that zip forms will still charge you because they'll give you the basic, but oh, you want NVAR forms. So what I do is I charge each agent like $20 for the year, not the month, $20, because like this year I paid over $1,000 to zip forms. So I need a little bit to recoup on that. Okay. In addition to that, training. So I have monthly meetings, and I try to have monthly meetings. Sometimes, tumbleweeds and prairie dogs, like it is probably every place. You get on Zoom or in a place and it's like, well, this is a great opportunity for me to sit and think because nobody else is here. Other times it's, a million different people. Okay. Like I said, I am an instructor, so I will on occasion be holding CE classes, both broker and mandatory salesperson broker CE. I am scheduling an SRS class, an NAR seller residential specialist class. That's not through an association, it's through me. And that's going to be hybrid in person and via, I have an OWL, which is a meeting video piece of equipment, really neat. Training for new agents, we have a mentor program. And if you're an experienced agent and want to get in on the mentor program, the way the mentor program works is it's 12 weeks. 10 of which are standardized. The last 2 weeks are basically free form between the mentor and the mentee. For the first 3 transactions that the mentee does, whether it's during the program or even after, they keep 70%, 30% goes to Fathom. That's the only time you get a split. Of that 30%, 20% goes to the mentor and 10% stays at Fathom to go ahead and administer the program. As far as training is concerned, I look for opportunities and I look for input. Mark, I know how good you are, and Kim, I know, and Sharon. So if you said, hey, look, I'd like to do a training on, knock yourself out. I encourage that. I'm not the only voice. And I shouldn't be the only voice because there's a lot of expertise. So anyway, so that gives you a little bit of idea. If you don't want to do zip forms, if you don't want to pay $20, Sky Slope is free to everybody. What I do is I use my zip forms, I download the docs, and then I upload them into Sky Slope so I don't have to pay for, DocuSign or anything like that. Since it goes into Sky Slope, I can send everything out for signature with that, and it's free because we're Virginia Realtors. What other questions do you have?
What about marketing materials?
Okay, what about marketing materials? So remember I told you that there was a back agent, etc. There's a marketing place there. So you can order different cards and documents. There's also free things to download and print for marketing. But if you're looking at just listed, just sold cards, things along these lines, they're there and they're good quality. There are other different marketing materials and things that you can do, but a lot of it's also free. Some things that you can just download, customize, and send off. Speaking of marketing, we actually have a program called Hometown Heroes. It is the same but different than other things for first responders, etc. So Hometown Heroes, one of the differences is that it doesn't cost you up front. A number of the different programs, you have to pay money for it. Well, you don't pay money to be part of our Hometown Heroes program. Some of the other programs say, well, we're going to give you an area, and that's the only place that you can market is for 30 to 40,000 different people. You can, if somebody comes to you from outside that, you can use them, but you can't market it because it's somebody else's territory. Our Hometown Heroes is like, it's whoever. You want to go to if you want to go to different fire stations and schools or dock in the boxes, whatever, that's great. One of the other programs that I'm talking about is 30% to that company and you get 70%. Well, Hometown Heroes, it's 25. 20% can go back to the buyer, and Hometown Heroes keeps 5. If you're already rebating, let's say 20%, you just owe them 5. So the total is 25. It's not 30 like some other programs. And again, there's plenty of free marketing. There's also, you have your own website, things along these lines. What other questions are there? Did I do that good a job or did I put you to sleep? I just want to make sure, just to know, okay?
What about,
Got another question here. Go ahead.
do you provide, signage?
No, we don't. So yes and no. So I have gotten other signs that I've gotten signs that I've let people borrow. I don't have a problem with that. It's if you're on your 3rd or 4th listing, you go, hey, Mark, can I borrow a sign?
Right.
Hey, no,
You
go get your own sign. Yeah, so I will help provide some of that for you if you're new. But, but after the first or second listing, whether it's a rental or a purchase, you need to go get your signs. And that's actually one of the things you can actually order marketing material wise in our marketing section.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
How about, I would just hit it all. How about lock boxes? I know some brokerages
No.
you provide.
No.
Okay.
And the question was, what about providing lock boxes? Again, if you are a new agent or you've done some transactions, but you have the old blue ones and you go, hey, Mark, I got a closing coming up. I got a listing. I really could use a lockbox. I got 4 or 5 lockboxes. Yeah, I can give it to you. But again, it's 100% company. You're getting 100% minus a transaction fee After the first one, you ought to have enough money to go buy signs and lock boxes and all the other stuff. Okay? Sharon, do you have any questions?
I asked about marketing. They have a.
Sharon's looking up her notes to find out what she's going to skewer me on. Mark, do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Kimberly? Nothing? Okay.
Not anything extra, I don't think.
Not anything extra. Okay. Well, let's see. How quick? Man, it was just about a half an hour. That's pretty good. So,
What about branding ourselves?
branding
You're-
yourselves.
You're fine with that?
Oh.
We have our own colors, whatever.
hey, that is a great question. Fathom, so NAR will tell you that, and it depends on the year, anywhere from 1% to 3% of the people use a realtor based solely on the company they're with. My guess is that if you went to your last 10 clients and said, who do I work for? The answer would be me. And that's about it. They don't care.
They're like,
They don't care.
Yeah.
So our feeling is that you ought to brand yourself. Now, I extend that a little more, okay? And the reason I extend that a little more is I say, if you have a Fathom email, then you're doing it wrong. Everybody gets a Fathom email, okay? And that immediately gets diverted to whatever email you want. But if you have mwerlo@fathomrealty.com, which I have and I use for, talking to other agents, but if you had something that, bsmith@fathomrealty.com, and that's your email, I think you're doing it wrong. You ought to be branding yourself. You ought to be getting signs that have the requirements of the state of Virginia on them, but it should say you. It's your information. You should be branding yourselves because outside of the company, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They care about you. That's how you get business. So yeah, we want you to brand yourself. We don't want you to brand Fathom. It's funny. My son and daughter-in-law live in Holly Springs, North Carolina. Our headquarters is Cary, and my son said, "Hey, Dad, I haven't seen any Fathom signs around." And then he came by and he says, "Hey, I just realized the last couple of signs that I've seen, they weren't Fathom signs. They had Fathom on there, but they were for the agent. So I was looking for Fathom. I didn't see Fathom. Now I'm seeing that the agents are branding themselves. Now I'm seeing Fathom signs." So, okay. All right. That's all I got. If nobody has any more questions, you'll have the information. I'm going to send that out. Please feel free to call me, to contact me. I'm more than happy to sit down. Look, I know that what is happening is fairly sudden and that many of you are being put in a position of, what the heck now? And having to make some decisions quickly. I don't want to be overbearing about it, but I want to be supportive of whatever decisions that you make, especially if they're with Fathom, really. But I'm more than happy to sit down and talk to people one-on-one or a couple of people together. I'm more than happy to do that. Look, is Fathom perfect? No. I have some things that I go, geez, if anybody tells you that Fathom is perfect, they're either on drugs or they're lying, one of the two, okay? There's nothing perfect. But is this the best company I've ever worked for, including the companies that I've owned myself or been partners with? Absolutely. I'm staying. I got asked by my boss 2 days ago. He said, "You're not leaving, are you?" And I said, "Look, no, I'm not. You got me for at least 2 to 3 years, okay?" At that point, I may say, "Hey, it's time to go instruct and, fish and do a little golf." But my intent is to be here, for 2 to 3 years, easy. And Fathom's happy to have me. Is Fathom perfect? No. Is it better than, to me, and maybe I'm a little biased, any other company? Absolutely. So, all right.
So Mark, tell me the difference between you owning your own brokerage and running your own brokerage and now working for a brokerage. Why did you decide to make that transition?
So I had my own brokerage. No, I'll give you the, you know, this is probably more than you guys need to know, but so the market was going south, had been going south. I had opened an office up and more than tripled my overhead in 2007. Okay, smart, real smart. That's when I chose to do it. So not only was that happening, but with that and the stress, etc., my marriage fell apart. And I had a friend of mine come to me and say, "Hey, look, why don't we merge companies? We won't call it a buyout, we'll call it a merger." Good friends, still talk. But I realized after about 6 or 8 months, it was just not a good fit. Just was a bad decision. In fact, I had a couple of people say, "I don't know if this is a good decision based on personalities and business plans, etc., things like this." So after about 15 months, I said, "Look, I got to make some decisions." And one of my decisions was to start a new brokerage. The other decision point was that 3 of us were going to go into business together, me, myself, and I. That was it. No other agents. We're done. And I had an agent that had left me and gone to Fathom. And I talked to Fathom and I realized that what I didn't have to worry about not owning my own business was I didn't have to worry about payroll. I didn't have to worry about commissions. I didn't have to worry about E&O. I didn't have to worry about trying to find a place to do business. Now I work like almost everybody else does out of their house. If COVID has told us anything, it's that we can work out of our house and nobody's going to blink an eye as far as a client is concerned.
Yep.
And so I looked at all that in accounting and the expenses and this is crazy. I turned it over to Fathom and I became a managing broker. So what allows me to do, Mark, is to manage my people and to be there for my agents and my clients and do the things that I think are fun. Paying bills, not fun. I'm crappy at it. Don't like it. Don't like it in my personal life. Don't like it. Okay. Don't have to pay bills. Don't have to negotiate or worry about E&O. I don't have to worry about all that. I can do the things that I want for the people that I want to do them for. That's the difference to me.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I am going to send this. I'll send this to Mark. I'll send it to Kim, and I'll send it to Sharon. This video, a link to it. And so, if you guys want to push it out, or you can hold it, you can go, "Oh, well, this is a delete." That's fine. It's up to you guys. But I'll send this out so that and it will be on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel, Mark Werlo on YouTube. So it will also be up on the YouTube channel, just so that, people can go ahead. That's how I'm going to warehouse it and then send the link out. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.